Sunday morning, and I've spent quite a lot of time actually tidying up the garage this morning. So I've got a Hoover up here and just went through tidying all the floors, putting pretty much everything back in its place and hoovering everywhere really, the car inside, outside, underneath. There's a lot of dust that came off of the floor in the back when I cut that out with the angle grinder, as you can imagine. So that aluminium dust went absolutely everywhere, and yeah, now I mean, it's not clean, but it's a lot better because that dust went absolutely everywhere. But yeah, it's nice to work in a clean environment as well. Got some of the cobwebs off the walls and stuff like that because it's really, not looked after in here. But yeah, I'm going to empty the bin now, and then I'm going to probably start on these sides here. Maybe the mud flaps. I've just ordered some front mud flaps, which I've never had, which are BMAC mud flaps. They're not originals, but they'll be fine, and I'll fit those today as well. So you may remember that when I bought my steering wheel, my original steering wheel, it came without a centre cap. And rather than buy a new one, and they can cost about £60, I thought I'd make my own. So I drilled a series of holes in some aluminium and cut out and shaped the circle and made a bracket, and then riveted the bracket, a push-fit bracket, onto the back of the plate, and then undercoated it and sprayed it all black, and then fitted it to the car. And it actually looks pretty authentic, if you ask me. So that's it now, finished in the car. So I'm very happy with that. So fitting the rear mud flaps was pretty straightforward really. The only thing that was a little bit worrying was having to drill into my new galvanised chassis, which I didn't particularly enjoy doing, but once they were fitted, I think they look really good. So, having never had a battery tray and clamp for my Land Rover, I ended up sourcing one via eBay. But I found out the hard way that there are two different sizes. So for the diesel engine, which has a bigger battery, there is a larger size tray and clamp. And for the petrol engine, which has a slightly smaller battery size, there is a smaller tray and clamp, as these part numbers will show you here. So beware when you're buying yourself one. So this is my 1978 Series 3 short wheelbase, which has been a project for me for the last 3.5 years. I've actually owned it since I was 17, bought it in 1995, and after driving it for a few years, I ended up buying a different car, a Peugeot 205 GTI, which was great fun, but that meant this sort of got to put to one side and has essentially spent the last however many years, that is 20 years, in my parents' barn. So, as I say, 3.5 years ago, I started the project and pretty quickly found out that it needed a ground-up restoration, new chassis rebuild, the suspension, the gearbox has been rebuilt, the engine reconditioned. Everything's been done by me, which has been fantastic. It's been really good fun. And in the summer, after moving to Germany, I put it on a trailer and brought it over here, and have been working sort of sporadically on the car since then. But it's getting pretty close. So one of the major things that need doing today, or to get it through the MOT, or the equivalent of the MOT over here, is just to finish off the electrics, put in the left-hand drive lights, which I've done. But it's this floor. So I've cut out the original floor, which is behind me, leaning against the wall. It had corroded so badly that where these cross braces go, it rusted through, or corroded through. So I've cut this one out, and the way I've done that is literally just taken an angle grinder and gone along about 3/4 of an inch, 20 mil from the side, so I can actually retain this angle here along the edge, because I think if I was to drill out all of the spot welds, which is what it has all the way along, I might damage that angle, that 90-degree angle that joins into this place, and that means I'm into sort of more repairs, taking out these items. So that's how I'm going to do it. It means it sits a little bit higher than the original floor, but that's not too much of a problem. I'll just put thicker rubber rubber bungs on the cross pieces. And actually, to do the floor, I've got some alu-core, which is something that we use in our work here in Dresden, which is, as you can see, like a double layer of aluminium with a sort of a honeycomb style centre. And this is, you know, very expensive material, but obviously because it's part of my work, I was able to get it for quite a lot cheaper. So I'm going to cut the floor out of that section there. Okay, so I've just cut the length of the alu-core, and I'm just going to put it in there just to make sure it fits. I suppose unsurprisingly, the car's sort of stretched and moved over the years, so actually the rear measurement is slightly smaller than this measurement, but only about 5 mil, but still enough to make a difference. So I've obviously chosen the smallest one and just set it slightly outside, and it's just going to be a bit of a gap here, but I'll just put some filler in there to seal that base up. But yeah, so length is cut, and actually just using a normal jigsaw, I even think that's a wooden blade in there, because I haven't actually got a metal blade, but you can see the finish is absolutely perfect. This stuff cuts really well. It cuts like wood, and apart from that little nick at the end there, which I don't need anyway, it's perfectly straight. So now I'm going to do the cross section, the width. Okay, so a bit of messing about to try and get the plate to fit. So I had to take the spare wheel holder off, so that I can just lay the plate down that way. Because obviously, because of the door, the lip on the door here and this catch here, I don't really want to take all that off. This is much easier, so I can just lay it flat down just to see if it'll fit. So that is the next step. Obviously, found some more corrosion here, which had been filled before. I will fit the floor, and then I'll put some kind of an L-shaped bracket on the outside of the tub. Maybe rivet it to the metal, to the aluminium, and then fill that as well. But yeah, just still going there. Yeah, the lengthways of this aluminium alu-core was easy to cut, because obviously you're going along with the profile. Can't really see that there. But going across it, you might have seen on the video that the saw was jumping up and down quite a bit, because obviously it's catching every ridge that's inside the sandwich. So yeah, but actually, you know, the jigsaw with the wooden blade worked pretty well. Okay, so I've got it fitted temporarily, obviously, and I'm pretty pleased with the fit because it's like a sandwich, you know, like a dual layer with that honeycomb I mentioned. I had to, can't really focus on that very well, but I had to cut the top section and the honeycomb filling off of one side, literally just so that the plate here with the rubber seal will fit. because if it sits too high, the door doesn't close because it sits beyond this, the lip here. So if you fit it with the, you know, with the full height of this, the full thickness of this, then the seal won't fit on top. So yeah, I mean, it's a pretty good fit. Some gaps obviously, but that's absolutely fine. It's a much tighter, snugger fit down this end. But that is a first look at the new floor. The reason why I did this is, I mean, you can buy the floor from various places, bits for Landys and things like that, but they're about, I think, about 160 quid, which isn't too bad. But then I've got the packaging and postage to Germany, and it sort of got quite expensive. But also, the way in which it fits meant I wouldn't be being able to leave that rim around the edge to strengthen the sides of the tub. So this is actually a better solution, and actually stronger than the original, because the original uses these I don't know if they're still on here. Yeah, these cross rails here, like these sort of U-shaped things that go all the way down. Because it's such a thin aluminium, I think it's 0.7 or something, oh no, I think it's actually 1.2, so it's not too thin. But this sandwich that I've got is far thicker, so I won't need those rails, which is really cool. So it's getting there. I'm really pleased with that. I'm going to take it out again now. I'm going to finish it up, make sure I've got the holes in the right place for the rail. That goes across the back here for the door seal. And then the next step, I guess, is to fit the cross members underneath, which are, where are they? They are here. That's those. And I'll fit those, line up all the holes, drill the holes, and then eventually I will spray that. So because it's aluminium, I've got some etch primer, and I've got a compressor to do the top with blue, and I'll do black on the bottom. So it'll look pretty smart. But I'm pretty pleased with that. I had to cut off, annoyingly, the spare wheel rubber strips because fitting this floor, it just didn't quite get past, so I had to take those off. But they're only riveted on, so I'll just re-rivet them. Okay, so I'm just painting the cross members here. I mean, they obviously are black already, but I've rubbed them down a bit to put a bit more coverage on them. So I'm using stone chip just so they last a bit longer. And over here, I'm doing some etch primer on my floor, but I've done the other side already. I've already lined up and drilled all the holes that it requires all the way down. So I've done all that off camera. Dear, that stinks in here because of all the aerosol, but yeah, that's coming along quite nicely. And I opened the door and it's actually sunny outside.